Well, you can't blame me for trying to give the benefit of the doubt when I talked about the BlizzCon prize pool debacle earlier this week. Essentially, at the time, I didn't see any clear evidence that Blizzard had quote unquote stolen the prize pool money. What it boiled down to was Blizzard had agreed to have a $500,000 minimum prize pool for their BlizzCon WoW event. They announced a way to crowdfund that. People took that as to make it even larger. All right. This is not uncommon in esports to sell cosmetics or something like that to fund these gigantic prize pools. When it came out to be $660,000, to me, it looked like, well, okay, they offered 25% of these $10 statues. They sold X amount of dollars worth. It makes sense. It added $160K to the prize pool. But there was this murmur that Blizzard had, in fact, sold $2.6 million worth of cosmetics, and that they, in fact, didn't actually add those sales on top of the $500K minimum. Instead, they replaced it all. Essentially, people felt like, hey, you promised at least $500K plus, and instead you just let the community fund the entire thing. And I've been waiting. I've been asking. I've reached out to all of my esports friends. I've reached out to Richard Lewis, asking, hey, has anybody proven this? Like, seriously, anybody? And I haven't found anything. And it's so frustrating. By the way, before I get into the rest of this video, it's not a video sponsor, but I do want to just give it a little shout out to enterthedomains.com. It's Domain, the trading card game. They're an early alpha. They're looking for people to help test their system to work on balancing the game. And I hope that you'll check it out. I'll leave their link in the pinned comment below. If you like Hearthstone, if you like Magic the Gathering, if you like chess, this is a free-to-play game. I just want to help them out a little bit. It's always good to have more interesting trading card games out there, and they appear to have one. So the only article I could find was BlizzCon 2019 was something that Blizzard was expected to go all in on, but with only 2 days before the start, the WoW community is calling that intro into question based on the controversy surrounding the prize pool with the WoW Arena World Championship and the WoW Mythic Dungeon International. In a post made by Blizzard on March 19th, the company announced that members of the WoW community could support WoW esports by purchasing 2 new toys available in Blizzard shops. And again, we talked about this, where they offered to throw 25% of the proceeds into the prize pot. On Monday the 28th, Blizzard announced the total prize pool would be $660,000, each of $330,000 in each pool. But then bring in Snuts. He is a competitive WoW player, and the question was, this started from him. He claimed to have some sort of insider information about the number of cosmetics or toys that they sold, and if that was true, then he was right. But at no point has anybody actually shared those sales numbers. To be honest with you, if you're going to crowdsource something, you should probably share the sales numbers so people know you're telling the truth. That's just me. But the success of the toy and the community's rallying around the cause led to suspicions and eventually allegations against Blizzard for not contributing any of its own money to the prize pool and instead relying solely on the proceeds from the toy sales. A popular streamer named Zach, you may know him as Asmongold, who I also asked about this, and he agreed with me in the beginning of being skeptic about all of this, but eventually was convinced when C9 Snuts went on his show. Asmongold came to the defense of Blizzard in a tweet quoting the original announcement made by Blizzard ahead of BlizzCon, and so did I, saying, "Attention, people that are mad about Blizzard supposedly not contributing any money to the prize pools is completely unfounded conclusion. There's no place that states that Blizz won't contribute if the pool is too big. Let's wait for more info." Asmongold urged. However, Kelvin Snuts replied, a professional player for Cloud9, responded to Asmongold's tweet stating his account of what had taken place. He also replied to me saying, "It's simple. All competitors got into a players' meeting, including myself. We asked, and they told us there. You can ask any AWC or MDL competitor, including myself, to confirm this. Heck, I'm sure D Machine will do it too. He says, there's absolutely zero reason for me to bring this up. If it wasn't true, Blizzard doesn't mention it in the blog to save face. If one were to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt, the wording of Blizzard's original post could read as 500K guaranteed should the proceeds from the toys not exceed the value, which is probably what they meant, but they weren't clear in that. Still, that doesn't seem to be enough to satisfy the community. Asmongold himself made a video expressing his disappointment and calling on Blizzard to make the right choice and add its 500K to the prize pool. With BlizzCon less than 2 days away, it's unlikely that anything in the way of formal announcement is made public before the beginning of the event. However, a lack of explanation or clarification from Blizzard could turn on the company's 48-hour highlight into more fuel for the unrest ablaze the community. And let's take a look at what Asmongold had to say.
Hey guys, I just want to make a quick video and talk about the AWC and the MDI prize pools. This is something I talked about in my last tweet, and also I talked about today on my stream. Originally, I was very skeptical about the idea that Blizzard effectively used the players' goodwill in supporting the competitors in these events to end up subsidizing the tournament, and the way Blizzard wouldn't have to pay anything. And it turns out that, unfortunately, that's the case. Blizzard effectively said that because the toys made so much money, that Blizzard will no longer have to put in the minimum amount that they guaranteed, because the amount of money that it raised exceeded that minimum amount. And they raised $660,000 for the prize pool, which is 25% of the sales, and Blizzard was originally promising to put in $500,000. Now, as I said, whenever this originally came out, I was very skeptical. I was like, Blizzard's been in a lot of bad press, but I can't really imagine them doing this. Well, unfortunately, my skepticism was misplaced. And Blizzard did do this, according to Snuts, who said they had a player meeting, and this is what they said. I am very disappointed about this. I think that a lot of people are. People who promoted this, the toys and buying them. I did even. I wasn't even in the event. I promoted buying the toys for people that wanted to support it. And tons of other people did too. And I think this is just a terrible misuse of players' goodwill towards the community and towards these events. And Blizzard, I could go and talk a bunch of shit about Blizzard in this video, but honestly the video is too short for that. Here's what I think Blizzard should do. Blizzard should just say, you know what, we fucked up. It was misleading. Players misunderstood this. We're going to put in $500,000 anyway, and let's take that $660K and let's turn that into a $1.16 million. I think that's the right thing for Blizzard to do, and hopefully we can see that happen. If not, I really can't see people buying these toys again, and I think Blizzard has really misused the goodwill of the community, and I hope they do the right thing. So, just want to make a video and say that. That's my piece, and hopefully we get the right decision.
And I respect the fact that Asmongold is in a tough spot. The guy's making $100,000 a month streaming a game for the company. I don't think it's fair to expect him to quit. I think that it's reasonable to expect him to continue to do his job, but also continue to call out the company. I think, at least for him, he's still in a position of power. And like him, I was skeptical too, but it looks like that's what happened here. And, people are not covering this. I don't know why. Hopefully people will share his tweet. Hopefully people will share this video by leaving a like or a comment or retweeting it on Twitter, because, it's interesting. Sometimes you can say a lot by not saying anything at all. And when you have a competitor, when you have somebody as big as Asmongold essentially confirming this, you would expect Blizzard to come out and clarify. Maybe they did. Maybe the sales were nothing. Maybe the person that told the players about how they raised the money was wrong. I'm still saying there's a chance that this isn't true, but given everything we know about Activision Blizzard, it doesn't look good for them. You roll that into the fact that they lost a huge sponsor for BlizzCon, and now you're starting to wonder. Blizzard lost a big sponsor after Hong Kong outcry, Mitsubishi. Blizzard lost the trust of its fans and some money too. Now, if you look at what they did, they took advantage of the goodwill of the community. And by the way, good on you for raising the money for these prize pools and for Blizzard to create an avenue to do so. Now, when you're a billion-dollar company, you could probably throw $500,000 in there and make this right. But rest assured that next time you try to raise this money, people are going to be a lot less likely to do so, and your influencers, your streamers and things like that are going to be a lot less likely to shill it for you. Blizzard Entertainment may be feeling the efforts of the ban. According to the Daily Beast, Mitsubishi decided to pull sponsorship of Blizzard esports events after the company banned Blitzchung for voicing his support of Hong Kong protesters in a televised post-game interview. Reddit users first noticed the disappearance of the Mitsubishi logo during its recent Asia-Pacific Hearthstone tournament, and the company confirmed its decision to pull the sponsorship to the Daily Beast. The arm of the Mitsubishi that pulled the sponsorship support was Mitsubishi Motors Taiwan, the Taiwanese branch of the Japanese auto company. Taiwan is often the subject of contentious disputes between Chinese government and businesses around the world who risk losing the opportunity to do business in the country's mainland if they defy in any way the government's position on the Chinese sovereignty of Hong Kong, Taiwan, and other territories. Apple recently hid the Taiwan flag and iOS 13 emoji set if you're located in Hong Kong or Macau. After initially announcing a year-long ban, we already knew all this stuff. The company said it took issue with Blitzchung using the official tournament telecast to express political views and has since banned other people, as we already know. Also, we know that Blizzard has released a statue, a beautiful statue, that's available exclusively in China. That's right. In addition to announcing more Spoils of War digital collectibles for Warcraft 3 Reforged, Blizzard also unveiled a statue of Arthas for the boxed collector's edition in China, which also comes with some art prints and a pin. A life-size version of the statue was unveiled at China Joy earlier this year. You can browse for more pictures of the statue, but yeah, awesome. Cool statue, awesome looking pins. Right now, as far as we know, it's a Chinese exclusive. Not a good look, Blizzard. Now, maybe they'll announce it at Blizzcon. That'll be available other places. I mean, heck, the thing's probably manufactured in China, but it's just not a good look. The optics are rough right now. And when Diablo 4 has another set of leaks, Blizzard seems to be just like breadcrumb leaking out things every time something bad pops up. For example, the WoW player prize pool, they throw a leak on it. They're like, we've sprung a hole over here. Patch it with a Diablo 4 leak. We sprung a hole over here. Overwatch 2. Just trying to cover up anything. And they're going to run out of it. And worst of all, they sucked all the hype out of BlizzCon. If you're going to BlizzCon and you were thinking, boy, it would have been awesome to experience the Overwatch 2 unveil live, or it would have been awesome to experience the Diablo 4 unveil live, or it would have been awesome to experience any of these things live, now you feel like, well, geez, everybody else already knew about it. Now, leaks aren't uncommon, and I'm sure Blizzard is doing this to keep the hype, to build the hype, and to bury down any negative press. New Diablo 4 leak reveals classes, PvP, and a dark Diablo 2 inspired art style. More Diablo 4 rumors have surfaced ahead of BlizzCon 2019 this weekend via a post on Reddit summarizing the upcoming RPG tone, mechanic story, and more, which was verified by trusted insider Daniel Ahmad on Twitter. The leak posted by user PracticalBrush12 states that Blizzard's action RPG sequel will be a giant wink to Diablo 2 fans with dark, gritty tone, self-referential story, and more. A range of co-op, PvP combat, and hopefully live up to fan expectations. Locations are toned down, explains the post, which states that Diablo 4's environments are more interactive and infrequently laid with corpses, wasteland, grayish deserts, cult caves surrounded by flesh-rotten crypts, marshes, bogs, and plague cities. The leak also refers to 3 playable classes, Barbarian, Mage, and Druid. We'll know by Friday whether or not there's any truth to this report when Blizzard hosts its main keynote conference at BlizzCon in Anaheim, but this information does line up with previous expose from Kotaku, which suggests the studio has been working on the game for several years. In addition, Diablo 4 Overwatch 2 is expected to be announced. Now, this does create a weird conflict inside me. I'm very happy for the Diablo players, and in fact, I've never really experienced Diablo, and everything that it looks like kind of looks like I'd like it. So it's tough, especially covering this stuff. If I didn't cover this stuff, I'd be gleefully just playing these games anyway. I probably would be excited for Diablo 4. I was never really an Overwatch guy. I'd still be playing WoW Classic. So part of me feels a little bit bummed out. I'm just being honest. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't blame people for playing these games. If you want to play it, I've always said, life is short. You can play the game and still be a vocal critic of the company. You can stream the games and still be a vocal critic of the company. I don't think that the two are mutually exclusive. And maybe this is, you know, a good subject for a different video, and I'm going to wrap this video up here. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on did they jack the money, what's going on with BlizzCon, and we'll talk to you again real soon.